Good evening, everyone. Tonight we will discuss the Little expansion, a little giant opening to a new world. Little is a German-based discount grocery store with amazing growth throughout Europe and planning on storming the US markets. Little is a German-based discount grocery store. The discount part was founded in 1973 by Dieter Schwartz. Currently operates 10,000 stores throughout Europe and in 30 countries. It is based on a zero waste, no frills approach that passes that savings on to the customer. It has about an annual growth rate of around 10%. For an expansion like this, especially in the United States, information and data are definitely required. Some of that, of course, is the US regional demographic information, which should include the median household income for any specific region, ages, as well as population information such as race and others to be able to help the little actually move into the United States. Some more data that is required is the US shopper details and feedback. This, of course, would include information and data concerning how people actually shop, what they buy, where they buy it from, how often they go to the store, and what percent of their income do they actually spend. Another key bit of data that we need for this expansion would be in a competitor and US market share information for the grocery industry. This would include competitors analysis, competition information for each specific region that a little is wanting to go into, as well as how many stores the competitors have and how well stores within that specific region of a discount chain actually fare. The cost for data is twofold. A lot of the information can be retrieved from free sources such as the regional census information. This can be obtained from national and regional entities, governmental entities. But the shopper detail as well as market share and competition analysis for a store the size of Little would actually need to invest anywhere from ten to $50,000 to be able to get the specific data required. This, of course, would include customer lists for a specific region, as well as their buying habits and to which stores they actually go to. The information is quite valuable because you can actually find information that can drive the business forward. Some patterns that were noticed through the research it was found that there are rising food costs throughout the world. And this rising food costs also has given rise to the discount grocery business in Europe and the United States growing. And then there's been an increase in shoppers from middle to upper class that are starting to shop more at the discount grocery stores. Little itself also provides 9 to 30% cheaper products than other competitors, as we can see from this graph. The value of the data that we need to collect can show how market share will portray the strengths of an individual chain as compared to others. As you can see from this UK market share, we can see that there are some strong competitors such as Tesco, Sundays, and Asada that hold a majority of the market. But you can also see that Lidl and Aldi, which are discount chains, are slowly growing within the market. Understanding our customers' spending habits gives us also insight into potential markets and growth opportunities, as well as visualizing and understanding regional food prices can account for potential profit and or loss considerations. In order to actually get any real information and knowledge from the data that we can collect, we need to have the data clustered around sales that are clustered around consumer income. We need to cluster sales around demographic data, as well as clustering sales and stores around population centers. As we can see from these three graphs collected from a UK research study involving Little, we found that the household income from 20,000 to 100,000 shop quite a bit at Little, as well as The African American and also Caucasian populations shop quite a bit at Little as compared to their uh, demographics. We also noticed that age ranges 25 to 34 and 55 to 64 are one of the highest users of age groups that shop at Little. Some associations that we can grab. We've also been able to find some U.S. Category drivers. In the United States, a majority of the people polled say that they like to shop where they currently shop because it's the most convenient. Seconded by having the main things that they need. Third are the best prices. And fourth is the overall enjoyment of shopping. If we can actually tie these information into Little's overall growth pattern, we can find that Little actually does do very well with these type of associations. It provides a much lower price than any other company, as well as an overall enjoyment. Some correlations that we are using for this is using the US and UK markets for Aldi's. We've noticed that in the UK, Aldi and Lidl are both very good competitors. There's a direct correlation for both their market share as well as their growth. We've seen in the last 3 years that Lidl and Aldi's grow at about the same rate. There's a slight difference in their market share, but their growth patterns are very similar. These correlations can also show as a strong indicator for growth within the United States, based on the fact that Aldi's is currently within the United States and is showing similar growth patterns. A network analysis is a good way for Little to be able to find customers and see how they're connected to others. They can be used to leverage new customers as well as to spread the word through a relatively cheap marketing campaigns in order to promote their business. Some emergent trends that we've noticed that is that the deep discount stores are very much growing. Using this UK market share change over the last 3 years, the only two competitors that are actually growing, and especially at a good rate, were Aldi's and Lidl, with Lidl growing at a much faster rate than Aldi's. We've also been able to see in the United States how the grocery business has been performing based on the categories of deep discount stores, supercenters, and warehouse clubs. We've noticed that the deep discount stores have had a decent percent of growth as compared to the others, but we've also noticed that what they sell within their stores, there's about a 50% store brand items and a 50% normal brand items. This is much more than than its competitors, and therefore also gives them a significantly higher margins and profitability for when it comes to the other stores, considering they have to pay for the brand prices and have a much larger overhead as comparatively to the deep discount stores, which run at a very low overhead and offer very little frills, thus giving the company much more profits in the long run. Trend analysis involving Aldi's and how Little fared within the United Kingdom shows that Little did very well in the United Kingdom and actually correlated very well with Aldi's. And considering Aldi's is currently in the United States, we can use that as a basis of comparison to show how this Bayesian analysis can show that 73%, there is a 73% chance of a good market share in the United States based on previous experience of Little within the United Kingdom and how it is correlated well with Aldi's experience in the United States. Now, when it comes to growth, especially over a 3-year period, we can show that there's a good 44% chance of a strong growth in the US based over 3 years. This is also, of course, based on how Little performed in the UK, which is a similar market, as well as how it compared with Aldi in the UK and how Aldi is currently faring within the United States. With any expansion, there are, of course, risks and concerns. Anytime you go to a new market, you have to play into the current competitors and also the laws that may bring legal issues. Currently, Kroger is suing Little for some packaging disputes, and that Kroger is saying that Little has a store brand package that is very similar to Kroger and can actually have detrimental effect on Kroger's business. The legal the legal issue is still being debated. Another risk is that Little is actually going into a very highly competitive market driven by low-cost ingrained companies such as Walmart, Kroger, and Costco. These companies are ubiquitous with stores ranging in the thousands to tens of thousands and actually blanket the market as well as dominate the market share. Getting into this market would be difficult and price wars may ensue. Little has a good advantage due to the fact that Little in it itself has low prices and has low overhead, but stores of that Walmart size and Kroger size actually have deep pockets to be able to go into regional areas and drop prices significantly to counteract the Little expansion to that area. Another concern would be any laws that could pertain to building of new international companies within any type of municipal area. I do recommend strongly that Little expands into the United States. There are very high expectations for its success, and it would be a good idea to locate Little stores in mid-level population centers that have appropriate demographics, especially for middle to upper class consumers. Should start to market the local consumers via established marketing campaigns that have seemed to work throughout Europe. Considering the United States is, although a slightly different market, it is very similar to the UK. As well as to expand at a good to medium pace, this is to avoid overextension while providing extremely low prices and good quality service. This will also benefit Little in that it will be able to shock the regional areas, especially for larger businesses such as Walmart, and force them into a price war that Little will more than likely win. Thank you. Have an excellent day.